So, a very good evening to you all. Welcome to JobGrade IAS. Hope you all are doing good. Those who have appeared for the prelims, the result is not yet declared. So, beware of the fake PDFs. I'm repeating again, right? Uh, Possibly you people are on high on adrenaline because of the nervousness of the results. And my vision is very clear. Those who are scoring more than 90 marks can directly prepare for the mains examination. Right, I've cleared this message just after the prelims examination. So I think the probing movement is for those students who are on the borderline, who are scoring between 85 to 90. So don't worry, result is about to declare. And here we are discussing the questions of UPSC mains examination, GS paper 1, Indian history. Yesterday only we have discussed one question of related Indian art and culture, and that was estimate the contribution of Pallavas in the development of arc and architecture of South India. Clear? There is one doubt that is constantly being asked by the aspirants, sir, which NCERTs we need to follow for the UPSC mains examination, and what is the relevance of NCERTs, as well as what is the difference between the new NCERTs and the old NCERTs. So my message is very clear. As per now, you must follow the new NCERTs. Reason: the old NCERTs are chronological, right? The events are chronological. Let us suppose you are studying the ancient India and you are studying about Mauryan Empire. Just after the Mauryan Empire, you will have the post-Mauryans. After the post-Mauryans, you will have the foreign invasions. After foreign invasions, you will have the rise of Satavahanas, rise of Guptas. Then you will have later Guptas. Then you will have the advent of Harshvardhan. Then after the death of Harshvardhan, you will see that tripatriate struggle for Kannauj. So this is the chronology. But in new NCERT, you will have thematic topics. Indus Valley civilization. They have given a theme, the old towns, the towns of ancient time. So in these themes, the ancient civilization as well as their 360-degree aspects has been covered. Clear? So you need to follow the new NCERTs as per my personal suggestion. As per my personal suggestion. Otherwise, I am not degrading the importance of, demeaning the importance of the old NCERTs. They are quite good. Even when you will see the very old version of NCERTs, you will have the direct copy of R.S. Sharma, Satish Chandra and Vipin Chandra, right? So you can follow any one of them, but as per the demand of the examination at present time, you will have to follow the new NCERTs. As far as mains answer writing is concerned, new NCERTs have an edge. New NCERTs have an edge. So next thing which I wanted to discuss, the answer writing portion. We have cleared the difference between the word this analyze, estimate, examine, critically analyze, explain, right? These are some bouncy questions that you will find in your mains examination as well as in your various test series. Okay, now today we are going to discuss one very important topic, and it's a thematic topic of modern Indian history, and the question was asked in UPSC mains 2023. You know very well the complexity level of UPSC prelims and mains of 2023. Still, UPSC prelims is considered one of the toughest prelims examination ever held by the UPSC, and mains examination was also a bit tricky, also on a tougher side, right? By the way, it's UPSC, their modulus operandi is very clear. They will make a tough examination because they want to test the toughness of an aspirant, right? One thing that you should keep in mind, there is always a phenomena in UPSC. I'm forgetting the phenomena, how to explain in words. First of all, one of my senior who is right now into the services, he asked me a question: what is the limit of an aspirant? That time I was very young. I started giving him very fresher like answers, like his capacity, his IQ, his measured strength, and he kept shaking his head until I asked him that, sir, why don't you tell me? He said, Aditya, the limit of an limit of the UPSC aspirant is the limit of the examination, or vice versa. And this word vice versa impacted me a lot, because limit of an examination is the limit of an aspirant, right? So you need to push yourself up beyond your limits. So now, without wasting any time, let us discuss the question. The question for today is, what is the difference between Mahatma Gandhi and Rabindranath Tagore in their approach towards education and nationalism? So there are multiple themes involved, but there are two major themes. Theme number one is Mahatma Gandhi. Theme number one is Mahatma Gandhi. They want to ask about Mahatma Gandhi. On the other hand, you have Rabindranath Tagore. You have Rabindranath Tagore. And both of these personalities impacted the modern Indian history a lot. They impacted the modern Indian history a lot. Why? Because of their unique approach. Be it, socialism, be it education, be it nationalism, be it, poetry skills of Rabindranath Tagore, and the essay writing and the letter writing of Mahatma Gandhi. They impacted the modern Indian history a lot. Clear? Now, what is the demand of the question? What is the demand of the question? The demand is very straight. They want a comparison. They want a comparison. So what was the difference between Mahatma Gandhi and Rabindranath Tagore in their approach towards education and nationalism? Their approach are being compared. So these are different themes, and sub themes are education and nationalism. Education and nationalism. So what I was telling you, themes are these two themes. And what are the sub themes? Or you can say these are the personalities and these two are the themes. First is education, and second is nationalism. Second is nationalism. Now, as far as education is concerned, Gandhi's idea was different, Tagore's idea was different, right? As far as nationalism is concerned, Gandhi advocated non-violence and Rabindranath Tagore advocated the internationalism. He advocated the tolerism. Okay, so we will discuss all the things one by one. So now, let us think about the introduction. So what kind of introduction the question requires? First of all, you will write both Mahatma Gandhi and Rabindranath Tagore. These are the two prominent personalities that led and that share a significant space in the India's struggle for independence. India's struggle for independence. Their contribution in the education and nationalism had a distinct approach but a common goal. Which means self-reliance or the total independence, right? So this is enough for introduction. This is enough for introduction. Mahatma Gandhi and Rabindranath Tagore are prominent figures of India's struggle for independence. They introduced distinct approaches. What I told you earlier, their approaches were distinct, different approach. Gandhi came with a different mindset. Tagore came with a different mindset. As far as education is concerned, Gandhi's idea was to develop the basic education, and he gave the concept of Nai Talim, in which the basic education. So what, please let me know in the comment box if you are live. What is basic education? Sumit Singh, good evening, sir. Good evening. What is basic education? Is it the bookish education that you start learning since KG standard, A, B, C, D, no. Basic education is the ABCD of life. You are always devoid of the basic education, and this was the idea of Mahatma Gandhi. He wanted to develop the concept of basic education in India. In the contemporary time, the farming activities and the spinning wheel activities used to be considered as a symbol of basic education, as a symbol of basic education. Now, let us come on the introductory portion. They introduced distinct approaches to the field of education and nationalism. Their approaches has profound impact on the shaping of modern India. Right? Whenever you visit the region of Gujarat, left the regionalism, whenever you see the impact of Mahatma Gandhi, one idea that came in your mind was non-violence. Another idea that will come in your mind was spinning wheel, his charkha. Whenever you think about Rabindranath Tagore, even a child will distinguish his contribution as Jan Gan Man, which is our national anthem, and his poetries. He was a great poet also. Right? So these lines, these para is enough for the introductory portion. Next. So let us discuss their distinct approaches. First of all, we will discuss their approach in the field of education, and we will discuss Mahatma Gandhi first. So what was the idea of Mahatma Gandhi? Educational or educational. By the way, the correct pronunciation is educational. We Indians call it education. Education is not the correct pronunciation, it's education, right? Generally, whenever you visit, some of you are applying for the foreign courses, so your counselor will pronunciate it education, right? This is the correct pronunciation, so that's why I'm uttering this word again and again. Educational approach. Educational approach. So Gandhi's idea, what we are discussing, MK Gandhi. So what was his idea to develop a basic education or basic education? And why he wanted this? The concept of basic education, because he wanted to develop a value system. And why a strong value system was required as per Gandhi? Because to attain the self-reliance. So these 3 points must be written in the body with priorities. Priority first, second and third. You cannot jumble these words, right? You need to write in this manner, right? So what is the basic education? Basic education as per Gandhi, that every child, every normal person should know the concept of farming, should know that the concept of spinning wheel, so that he can be self-reliant. He should not be dependent on the government jobs that are provided by the British Raj, because he was very aware of the nature of British Raj. It was a complete slavery. Even Rabindranath Tagore and Gandhi both believed that British education system makes very good clerks. The image of Indian educated class was not above the level of clerk in the eyes of British, right? So he wanted to develop the basic education. And what was his base of basic education? Farming and spinning wheel. Now he wanted to develop a value system. What kind of value system Gandhi was looking for? Gandhi's concept of education was moral. Because he was a spiritual man. He was a religious follower, right? So Gandhi wanted to develop a value system that will make you a very good man. Never mind Gandhi when it comes to the education. He was a great educationist also. he given a concept that a child should not learn just the reading concept, writing concept and the calculations. His idea of education was not merely limited to reading, writing and calculation. He must be a thinking human being. And what kind of decision he is or she is taking, it has to be righteous. It has to be righteous. It has to be for a good cause. So that kind of value system Gandhi was looking for, and he developed. He was successful because Gandhi was a political leader that time, in the contemporary time, who had the maximum political followings. Who had the maximum political followings. The viral aspirant. Thank you. Thank you, Just Physics. Okay. So now, when you are basically well educated, when you have a very good value system, you will become a self-reliant person. You don't need British to run your business. That was the vision of Mahatma Gandhi. That was the vision of Mahatma Gandhi. Let us elaborate these points one by one. So Gandhi advocated, emphasized the idea of basic education, emphasizing skill that would be directly useful for the masses. Directly useful for the masses, such as farming and handicrafts. The spinning wheel, it was the base of handicraft, handmade clothes, the khadi, right? One of his notable contributions in this regard was promotion of Nai Talim or basic education. Nai Talim or basic education. What exactly happened during the British times? After the industrialization, Indian handicraft industries suffered a lot, and Indian, Indian, just you can say the Indian artists, they suffered a lot of economic losses. So revive the ancient art, the old art, which was the backbone of the Indian economy. Gandhi gave this concept, and this concept was known as Nai Talim. This concept was known as Nai Talim. Next, value system. He advocated for an education system that drew from Indian culture and moral values. As I told you, Gandhi was a religious man, Gandhi was a spiritual human being, and he wanted to develop the education system of India on the lines of Indian culture and the moral values, seeking to reconnect Indians with their rich heritage. Rich heritage. For example, Gandhi emphasized on character building. So he emphasized that the concept of Ramcharitmanas, the concept of Guru Granth Sahib, the concept of the Quran Sharif must be in the course curriculum, so that a man or a lady can be a very good human being, right? His emphasis on the character building, right? But British education system was different. British education system was to even in the present time, as far as Indian education system is concerned, Indian education system has its own limitations. It's a hardcore academic education system. I'll tell you why when we'll discuss the Tagore. When we'll discuss Tagore, I'll tell you why. So he emphasized on character building. You can see the philosophy of Gandhi in his programs: ban on liquor, right? Ban on liquor, ban or gambling, right? These were the concept of Gandhi's. He wanted to develop such kind of character in people. Now, self-reliance. Gandhi advocated for education as a means to people self-reliant and self-sufficient. For instance, he popularized the spinning wheel, as I told you earlier, as a symbol of self-sufficiency and economic empowerment during the freedom struggle. During the freedom struggle. So I think this is the demand of the UPSC. They are not looking for the professional answers. They are not looking for exact right answer. They are looking for the right attitude. Looking for the right attitude. The how you approached this one particular question, right? As let us suppose you are a normal UPSC aspirant. You are approaching for GS paper 1 history, and you don't have history as an optional. You are not a scholar of history. So what is the first idea if this question seems you a bouncer? The Gandhi, the image of Gandhi symbolize him operating the spinning wheel and preparing the threads of khadi, right? So this is This is how we must approach, right? Now, next is Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore. So, Rabindranath Tagore's first idea was he advocated for the student centric approach. Student centric approach. Tagore's vision of education. So, what is student centric approach? This is I want to convey you. Tagore's vision was very, very clear. Even the present Indian education system is not student centric. It is running on certain codes, right? First of all, a child will born after the age of 1.5 years. He will enter in daycare. The concept of daycare is very good. It has its roots from Tagore's vision, but when you enter in the KG class and in the higher classes, your options of education are limited in India. Either you run behind engineering, or you run behind the medical field, or you run behind the uh, competitive examination. This is the limitation of education system of India. And what is the reason? Because our education system is not mature enough to emphasize on the student centric approach, right? Even you can see in the present time, Harvard, Cambridge, Stanford, these are the private institutions, and they are so different and so better than our IITs and our NITs. Why? Because their approach is student centric. And what is student centric approach? As per Rabindranath Tagore, a student must have the autonomy to explore himself. He must have the autonomy to explore himself. A child must be given the autonomy to explore his interest. Tagore was a highly educated man. His younger brother Satyendranath Tagore was the first Indian civil servant. He was the first Indian to clear the prestigious ICS examination. And now, if you have seen this movie Tare Zameen Par, starring Amir Khan and that actor, if I'm not forgetting his name, Darshil. The character of Darshil, he was a pressured character. His parents wanted him to study. His parents wanted him to excel in the academics, but he was built different. He was a talented painter. He loved painting, right? He had no interest in mathematics, physics, or civics, right? This guy was different. And he met his destination at the end. He became a very good painter, right? He was guided by a right teacher. Now, this was the vision of Tagore. A child must, because he was not given the autonomy, right? He was always forced to excel in academics. Here, Tagore's vision is same. Tagore's vision is same. A, a child must choose his own interest. Let us suppose there is a 3-year-old kid. Let us suppose there is a 3-year-old kid. He doesn't know anything about mathematics, physics, civics, because he is quite young. But he can explore his own activities in terms of sports, in terms of other activities such as crafting, such as painting, such as uh, uh, you know uh, you can see the jigsaw pattern, solving the jigsaw pattern, solving the puzzles, right? The kid level puzzles, right? So he must given the autonomy. Next concept of Tagore was internationalism. The concept of internationalism. What was the concept of internationalism? Tagore wanted that Indian education system must be on the lines of British education system, but not typically like the British education system. The education system of India must have a global outlook. You must be educated in such a manner that your importance should not only count in India but also in the entire world. Let us suppose you are graduated from India, you are going for the masters. Now your graduation degree, what I told you earlier, your graduation degree, and you can imagine Even I personally think that the educational vision of Tagore was much more wider than the educational vision of Mahatma Gandhi. We are comparing actually, right? So what he advocated, what he emphasized on, that your education must be equally important in India as well as in abroad. Let us suppose you have done your graduation, and with your graduation degree you are going for the post graduation. Let us suppose in Cambridge, you must be respected because of your graduation degree, right? Now what is happening? You are studying in IITs, NITs. Let us suppose you are going to apply in Cambridge, Stanford, or Harvard. So your IIT degree will be respected, right? You can go on scholarships. But if you are from a regional college, let us suppose you are from a very basic local college, you will find a bit of struggle, right? You will have to clear certain language tests and certain written examinations because of the degradation, the quality of a degree. So he wanted to improve, he wanted to work on certain degradations, right? He wanted Indian education system must have a global outlook. Clear? Must have a global outlook. Now he founded, so this is the example. Tagore founded Vishwa Bharati. Now, Vishwa Bharati right now in West Bengal, right? I am not recalling the place of the name of the place, but this is in West Bengal. And Vishwa Bharati University is in the campus of Shanti Niketan. Shanti Niketan was established by Rabindranath Tagore, and there were many schools and universities in that campus. It's a wide campus, and it's a symbol of it's a symbol of pride for even today for the Bengali people. Now, what was the aim of establishment of this Vishwa Bharati University? To combine Indian tradition with the international values, to combine the international values with the Indian tradition. He never opposed the Indian tradition. His idea was very clear as far as education was concerned. You be traditional, but don't be an orthodox. Be traditional, but don't be an orthodox. Always have a wider vision, and for that purpose, your childhood will play an important role. Your childhood will play an important role. You must have the autonomy, right? Now, what was the aim of this internationalism and student-centric approach? The holistic development. The holistic development, which means before aspiring for the independence, you must feel independent, right? Before what Gandhi said, be instead of waiting for the change, be the change. And Tagore's idea in this aspect was same. He said, self-expression is the key for individualism, creativity, fostering an environment to celebrate freedom of thought and expression, right? What he advocated, the freedom of thought, the student-centric approach, the individualism, the creativity. You must feel independent before aspiring for the independence, right? Once you are feeling independent, then you will inspire others to be like you, right? This was the holistic development approach, right? For instance, he promoted exploring arts, literature, and nature. He founded schools and a university in Shantiniketan, which aimed to focus on holistic educational development and intercultural understanding. Now, there are a lot of people who are academically very sound, but when it comes to the exploring the things, they are very poor, right? Let us suppose you are a master of physics. You are a great physicist, but when it comes to exploring the sports, you lack. Clear? So this was the aim of Tagore. So where on the one hand Gandhi advocated the self-reliance, Gandhi advocated the basic education or the Nai Talim, Gandhi advocated the value system. On the other hand, Tagore advocated the student-centric approach, the internationalism with the aim of holistic development. These are the three major points that you need to keep in mind, right? Next comes to the approach of nationalism. When it comes to the approach of nationalism, and when we talk about Mahatma Gandhi, so what was the idea of Mahatma Gandhi? It is the non-violence. Gandhi was a hardcore follower of non-violence. He launched a lot of mass movement, whether it is non-corporation movement, whether it is CDM or the civil disobedience movement or Quit India movement, his intent was very clear that freedom can be taken with the means of concept of non-violence principles. He never accepted the concept of violence, right? Because Gandhi's belief was very clear that non-violence is above the violence, right? There was one instance in non-corporation movement of 1921, the Chauri Chaura incident, the famous Chauri Chaura incidents, when police fired on a mob and mob set a police station on fire and 22 police personnel killed in that fire. So this was the instance of violence, and Gandhi called off his movement even when it was in its peak, on its peak, right? So he was an ardent follower of non-violence. Now the debate of violence and non-violence is substantial. We are not jumping on that. We are focusing. We are focused on the major chunk of the question. So now Gandhi's nationalism was centered on non-violence and Satyagraha, advocating for India's independence without resorting to violence. Clear? Gandhi believed that non-violence was the most effective way to achieve Indian independence. He led several mass movements, as I told you, like non-corporation movement, Quit India movement, civil disobedience movement, Champaran Satyagraha, or Ahmedabad mill strike. These all the issues that were entertained by Gandhi, and he was a mass leader who always advocated the concept of non-violence. On the other hand, his approach was very inclusive. When you talk about these two sections of society, the two sects of Indian nationalism, the people who advocated non-violence and people who advocated violence, Gandhi's idea was very simple. He wanted to be inclusive, and he was inclusive. He included all sections of society in his mass movement, especially the marginalized people, because Gandhi's idea was very clear. People are marginalized not because of their fault, because of the poor policies of British Raj. If I am opposing the British Raj for their policies, so who were the victims of these policies? I must lead them. So Gandhi emphasized the inclusion of all sections of society, including the marginalized, in the nationalistic movement. For greater mass participation, he promoted Hindu-Muslim unity. He always promoted Hindu-Muslim unity, and the best example is the Khilafat movement just before the launch of non-corporation movement. Right? Gandhi entertained the issue of Khilafat that occurred during the by the end of World War I. Right? And upliftment of Dalits. Now this point is very important. This is an example why the word Dalit is important, because Gandhi left the active politics. He left the active politics after the civil disobedience movement for the betterment of Dalit people, and he designated the word, he invented the word Harijan, right? Even he said, I am leaving the active politics. Even if it is required to launch a mass movement, I can launch a mass movement even bigger the Congress, even bigger the Indian National Congress. And he did it when World War II broke out in 1939. He launched Quit India movement in 1942. So this point of Dalit and this point of Hindu Muslim University is mandatory to mention in this inclusive point, right? Next is the idea of Rabindranath Tagore. He advocated a humanistic approach, which means he was, he was a critique of narrow idea of nationalism. What is narrow idea of nationalism? What is nationalism? Nationalism is a feeling that you are a part of a political unit. Let us suppose India, that we are the part of Bharat. We all are Indians. We all are Bharatiya. This is a nationalistic sentiment. But when it comes to the narrow idea of nationalism, like Hindu nationalism, Muslim nationalism, Sikh nationalism, Tagore was not agree with this. His views were different. Now, how they were different? Tagore's approach to nationalism was more cosmopolitan and humanistic. Cosmopolitan approach or humanistic approach means the idea of nationalism must be acceptable to the outer world also. If your idea of nationalism is very wide, you have clear idea that we want India from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, right? For example, then it should be agree in the geopolitical world also, right? So he criticized narrow nationalism, which he believed could lead to chauvinism and intolerance. And you have seen his vision was very clear, and his vision was not obeyed. His vision was not obeyed. You have seen in the modern Indian history what happened after the Indian Independence Act. Absolute carnage after the partition. And when Lord Mountbatten said his last word, the deadlock is very, very serious, and the only way to resolve the deadlock between India, between Jinnah and the Indian National Congress is partition. And that lead absolute carnage, absolute massacre, the kind of hooliganism and clashes, Hindu-Muslim clashes, right? And what was his contribution when it comes to nationalism? The national anthem, which he compiled in 1911 when King George IV or King George V arrived at Delhi Darbar. The famous incident when Ras Bihari Bose threw a bomb on Viceroy, on British King, and the national anthem of Bangladesh, which he composed in 1905 during the partition of Bengal, during the Swadeshi boycott movement, which had initial words Amar Sonar Bangla, Amar Sonar Bangla. So these were the contribution of both Mahatma Gandhi and Rabindranath Tagore when it comes to the education system and comes to the nationalism. The UPSC wanted to compare the approaches of both of these great leaders. Now, what you will write in conclusion? What you will write in conclusion? They had the common goal. They had the common goal. Even their approach of nationalism and education relevant in present times and create a great impact on modern Indian history. So, okay, one more point about Rabindranath Tagore. By the way, I have explained this point. Whenever you study this PDF, you can read it yourself. The conclusion is both Mahatma Gandhi and Rabindranath Tagore had different approaches to education and nationalism. These differing perspectives enriched India's intellectual and cultural heritage and continue to influence the nation of this day, reflecting the diversity of thought within the independence movement. Right? Both have the common goal. Even if you study Bal Gangadhar Tilak, if you study Lala Lajpat Rai, if you study Bipin Chandra Pal, they were the great leaders of modern Indian history. They had different approach with a common goal, but the different approach, such like approach of Gandhi, approach of Tagore, approach of Bipin Chandra Pal, uh, created an intellectual environment during the Indian struggle of independence. Right? Even at present times, you will face a person with a Gandhian mindset. You will face a person with Tagore's mindset. You can face a person with a minds of a Bhagat Singh, right? So they have given lot of contribution, and these lines are enough to conclude your answer. So I hope you understood this session. I hope you understood this session. If there is any doubt, you can ask in the comment box, or you can download the JobGrade IAS app. You can subscribe our channel, and for more doubts, we are for more guidance, we have already launched our Ignite Foundation batch of 2026. You can download the JobGrade IAS app and directly have a vision of our courses. You can join as per your requirement. Okay, for I am calling. Can I call it a day? Is there any doubt you can ask? Those who are live. Okay. Thank you. See you again.